And I'm in a storm right now, so
Okay.
if it breaks up, just give it a second. It should clear up.
Uh, Okay. Turn it up.
Rolling out with the break of dawn. Canvas skies and the show goes on. Iron stakes and the hammer sound. Building dreams on this muddy ground. With sawdust running through our veins. We do it for the faces in the crowd. Step right up with R&B, 'cause this ain't just a show, it's circus history.
Welcome to Off the Rail Podcast, where we talk all things circus. I'm here with Nicole today. Hi, Nicole. How are you?
Hello. Good. How are you doing?
Doing fantastic. As we ask all of our guests, first question: how'd you get to the circus? What led you to the circus?
Yeah. As with most people, this is I feel like, multi-layered answer here. Because I think back to it, and we didn't go to any circus shows as kids. As I'm reading my daughter actually books, I've realized that my parents did read me some circus books. And I was like, oh, I wonder if that's what sparked my initial interest, because I had never seen a circus show. And then I was 20, I want to say 24. I just graduated college. There's this amazing artist, Lorelei Ash, who set up, she went to San Francisco Circus School, and then she moved to New York, obviously performed, and opened her own studio in New York. And then she moved to New Orleans, where I was at the time. And she had set up all of her equipment in the back of this gym that I was going to. And I looked at her, and I looked at the equipment in the back and her doing the tricks on the equipment. And I was like, I want to do that. That looks amazing.
What was the
You
equipment?
look like the coolest person ever. She has a trapeze and silks.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. So I started taking lessons from her. I think I'd only been doing it for, hard to say, maybe like 8 months or something. All of a sudden, one day, she's like, you could do this professionally. And at the time, I was studying for the graduate exam, because I was going to go apply for my master's in psychology. And I was like, oh, circus school or graduate school. Uh, and I did think about it, and I was like, okay, I could always go back to graduate school, and circus school is not, I can't do that forever,
Yeah.
right? So I had to persuade my parents to, I remember typing up, I do remember like doing this pros and cons list for them and like setting them down. Uh, being like, hey, here's why it would be a good idea if you would support me and help me go to circus school. So luckily they were very supportive, and I couldn't have done it without them, their help. Um, so I kept training with Lorelei, and then I applied to San Francisco Circus Center, which at the time had a pre-professional program. My first application, I got denied because I didn't even have a pull-up yet. Um,
You couldn't do
and then I
pull-ups?
heard back from the, no, I couldn't do a pull-up at the time.
Oh,
It took me a year and a half to finally get pull-ups, I think. Something ridiculously long. Um, so I heard back from the director, Elena Panova, and she's basically implied that keep trying, maybe come to San Francisco and we can see how you are like in a few months, like if your skills have progressed. So Lorelai helped me, and we both went out to San Francisco together. I took a class from one of the instructors there, and Elena kind of asked me to do. It was like a special audition that she was seeing what skills I could do on the ground, because I don't have an acrobatic background. My background is ballet. So I know how to move my body, but not in a gymnastics fashion. So she was like taking me through all of this stuff, and then she gave me a verbal quiz, if you will, as well, which I find hilarious. I remember the one question that she asked, which was, "Why you want to do circus?" She has this thick Russian accent, and I was like, "Oh, it's fun." She's like, "No, circus is not fun." I was like, "Oh, okay." And looking back on it, I'm like, well, she was right in a way. Like circus, there's nothing is easy about circus, and there are many hard aspects about it. But I would define my time in the circus as ultimately fun and a good time. So then she said, move to San Francisco, start your acrobatics training, and then you can reapply. And I was like, okay. So I did that, and I moved to San Francisco. I was there for 3.5 years. I did it doing the professional program, doing small gigs and stuff, and then I left to go do tour and stuff. So, and performed ever since after that circus school
Wow.
experience.
What was your first circus?
So I guess the first official one was a show in Peru, right in Lima, and we did it for, is it 3 weeks or 4 weeks? I can't remember. But we went there with one of our instructors because he's from Peru and he knew the people putting on the show and everything. So a few of us from the school went and did this small production, because the opener was how we have like real world, like reality battles in the
Yeah.
United States. It was kind of like that for Peru, like these real world young adults who did a bunch, I don't know, battles like that people could. Anyway, they were very famous there. So they kind of they were the closer. We were like the opener for the show. So that was kind of interesting.
Okay. Um, how'd you get up connected with Brian and being shot out of a cannon? What led through that?
Yes. He messaged me on Facebook and said, "Hey, would you have any interest in getting shot out of a cannon?" Something very like to the point, and you'll see when you interview Brian, he's very very to the point. And I was like, I looked at my friend Elena Sanders, who I graduated with her. She's still performing circus. She's like a contortionist and aerialist as well. But I turned to her and I was like, is this guy for real, or is he just being shady? Like, who is this? And she's like, oh no, yeah, that's Brian. Like, she knew more about it than I did. Because I think she had known the previous Cannon girl that had done it or something. And I was like, oh, okay. So he's legit. So I remember it being one of the shortest decisions in my life that it's weird because you're like, oh, you maybe should have taken more time to think about that. But I took like a day and a half, and I evaluated it, and I was like, okay, yes, this is something I want to do. And I think I am capable of doing it, because I was in, I think, the top shape that I've ever been in of my circus career, because I was just coming off a tour doing cloud swing, which I don't know if you've seen that before, but it's like a swinging trapeze, except for it's a rope. So the ends are attached up here, and then the person is sitting or standing at the bottom, pushing and doing tricks in the front and the back. one of the hardest apparatuses I've ever done. So I was like, oh, I'm in such good shape for this. Physically, I think I could do it. Now it's like a mental question of if
Mm-hmm.
I can do it, right? Because I mean, Canon is so mental.
Yeah, but it's being shot out of
Um,
a cannon.
and well, right. No, I mean, it takes a lot of mental fortitude to even do something like that and be comfortable with it. So I was like, okay, let me think about this. I was like, yeah, I can do it. I feel like I am at the right place in my career, both physically, mentally. Like, this is something that I can do. So I responded yes, and then they set everything up, and I think I flew into. They were on tour at the time, and it was Nadia getting shot out of the cannon, and Brian took me. We did like flips on a trampoline to make sure I had enough body awareness, and then we did the a free fall, just a mini one from the trampoline wall that they had onto an airbag. And again, he wanted to make sure I had enough body awareness or control to be able to do that, and also not to be scared.
Yeah.
Obviously, no hesitation or anything. So he saw that and he's like, "Okay, great. Let's set it up where you come over." I think it was in December, so it was like over Christmas. 3 weeks, I think I spent with them, and it took me, yeah, about 3 weeks, I think, maybe 3.5. Um, and that was essentially my audition. They're like, okay, if you, I don't even know if they specifically spelled it out, but I knew like if I couldn't accomplish this, then obviously that would
Mm-hmm.
be it, right? But I eventually got to where my shots looked better and pretty good by the end. So they're like, okay, let's have you join then. Obviously, I had talked to like Feld before that, before when I went to train at Brian's place in the gym in Indiana. But yeah, so then after those 3.5 weeks, I think it was another week, and then they shipped me to where did we open? Miami,
Red
Florida?
unit.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
in January.
Yep.
Yeah, yep. So that's where my Canon journey
How long were
began.
you in the circus before you became the cannon?
I mean, it's hard because I like include the training years too, because I did shows here and there. So I guess I would say 5 years.
How many circuses have you been with in total?
Um, I guess it would only be formed circuses that people would recognize the names. Probably just the two of the Ringling Brothers, and then Cole Brothers was before that, which was a smaller tent show. And I did it for 2 years, but they closed down my last year that I was on the
Uh-huh.
tour with them because they did not, I guess, make enough money what they were supposed to make.
What was your act on the Cole circus? Cole's brothers.
The first one I did, just Lyra, which is the hoop, um, and I did face painting. And then the second year, same thing. Obviously, I did face painting, Lyra, and then I did my cloud swing act, and I did the elephant act towards the end of the season
What
as
was
well.
that like touring in the tents?
It's muddy. Hmm. Yeah, it was the dirtiest. People who haven't done a tent show,
Mm.
it's just hard to really explain what a tent show is like because
Versus an
it's
arena show.
yeah, it's so. First of all, it's grueling. We had no days off unless there was some incident where the tent was flooded to where we
Hmm.
couldn't do it, right? Um, so it's a grueling schedule, and you have to help with the tent setup, or you have to help with. You're not just only doing your act. I don't think anybody just did their act. Everybody's always doing something else
Packing
too.
up,
So it
moving to
was,
the next spot.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. It was grueling. I look back on that time and I'm like, wow, that was tough. Uh,
A lot of people don't realize it takes a lot of endurance to join the circus.
oh, oh gosh. And then of course, I was younger and we'd be training after the shows too, so it was just exhausting. Um, Fun though, right? Like some of those memories are seared in my
Oh
head.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, it was great. I mean, I was, and our little quarters were like they sectioned off pieces of a semi truck and they
Little
made little
rooms.
little rooms. Yeah, it was so tiny and just wild. And like the restroom there, it was, oh man, it was quite something. Something I'll never forget, but not for everybody. I could see that, but quite magical in its own way.
So
They still have
you
to.
personally, would you prefer arena or tent? Mm.
Oh, arena. I mean, if you're asking me at my age right now, yeah, arena. Yeah.
All right, all right. So
But I think for an audience member, it's nice to have both
yes.
experiences, right? And there are tons of tent shows, like Cirque du Soleil does tent shows that are not going to be as grueling as an experience as I had with my tent show. So it's different degrees.
So what was some of the highlights of doing the tent show for you? Like what were some of the most memorable moments? And where did y'all guys travel? Like were y'all all over the country?
Yeah. Yeah. We never went into, because at the time we were performing with
Uh
animals.
no
So there
north,
were,
no
yeah, no,
northwest.
well, no Northwest. That's right.
Yeah.
Northeast, some. It was very specific spots that they were
Yeah,
allowed to
no like
go to.
Washington, no Oregon.
No,
Yeah, none of that. It's just
none of that.
sad.
Um,
They miss the
yeah,
beautiful,
yeah,
majestic animals.
yeah, yeah. I mean, looking back on it, I'm like, I understand that choice though, for animals not to be a part of the circus.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand the history of it, but like at the same time,
All right, so on Ringling, you were there with me. So you saw that the elephants, the animals, tigers got treated better than we did a lot of the times.
well, that's true, but that's not
Every
saying that
circus.
that's acceptable
Huh?
or acceptable or acceptable.
Oh.
I mean,
Well,
one would argue that y'all and all aspects of the circus should be treated amazingly, and we didn't see that. I don't think with performers, crew members, or sometimes animals. Cir- you know, I don't know. Is this too much? Is this too much? But I feel like it's true, right? Like, who was saying that in their interview of like just more advocacy work needs to be done? If you turn circus into, like it is in a lot of countries, of supported by the government and supported by, seen as a higher art, grant funding, and elevate it to what it is, and it wouldn't come down to people turning it into more of a commercial capitalism
hmm.
grab. I mean, I'm not saying I'm against that, because that's the way that it's been able to be sustained in the United States, right? Like, that's just, it is what it is. But I think there is room to grow with.
Oh, so there's
the treatment that we
There's people out
are.
there now like Shanae Stiletto. She's out there advocating
Yes,
for. She has a circus guild. So I mean,
yes, which is
there's people in motion with that here. So
yeah, yeah.
yeah, no, I agree. You know, it wasn't working for the circus isn't for the faint of hearts, but it's definitely a fun experience.
It is. It is.
So you meet
It really
interesting
is.
people, you get to travel. So all right, well let's go to your boot camp of that 3 weeks in December in Indiana in
Yeah,
December
yeah. Peru. Yeah, yeah.
to be shot out.
It was.
Was it an inside gym or an outside gym?
It was an inside gym, and they did have heaters that would sort of work
You got
after
shot out.
after after about an hour of being on. So it was quite cold. Yeah, yeah. It was something. And I'm sure Brian will maybe. Hopefully he'll retell his own. They've got so much circus history with their family. I'll retell this from my experience. My first cannon shot ever. I thought I was prepared for it. It was such a short.
I've already heard this story, but go ahead.
Okay, well, interesting to see what Brian. Anyway, what does Brian have to say? But no, it's true. Probably everything he said is true. um,
How's your neck?
I was oddly this. Well, yeah, it's fine now. I was oddly not nervous, and that's never made that mistake again. Because I was like, yeah, okay, I got it. They explained everything, and I'm like, okay, I'm ready. And then they did it, and then my rotation was pretty much non-existent because I landed on the back of my neck and strained all the muscles in my neck. When I was laying on the airbag, I was like, okay, can you move everything? And then I slowly started moving my body, and Brian was like, are you okay? I was like, yeah, let me just roll some things out because I had brought my foam roller. So I spent like 10 to 15 minutes on the roller. And he's like, okay, you ready to begin? And I was like, yeah. Because I knew that if I didn't get back in that cannon, right then, there was no way that was gonna, I wasn't gonna be able to do it after that. So the entire first day, it got better because it got a little bit lower, but nowhere near to where my landing needed to be. So I just kept going and going and going. I think, what did he say? We did so many shots that first day too. And I was like, ooh, I went back to the hotel room and I had to soak in an Epsom salt bath. And I just remember having to hold
You
my
missed dinner.
head and like pick it up off the pillow.
Yeah, you missed dinner, we heard.
Oh yeah, he like invited me out to do all these things with them, and I was like, no, I'm just gonna go back. I was just like collapsing in the in the hotel room.
All right, so I have to
Um,
ask.
and
Oh, go
listen,
ahead.
I told Brian it would. No, you go
Oh,
ahead.
go ahead. I'll remember.
Okay, I told Brian that I was like, look, this is gonna take me a lot longer to get these things. I just know that about myself because I come from a ballet background, not a gymnastics background. So every move that I had accomplished or mastered in circus took me longer than I think a lot of people who had that gymnastics background. And I knew this. But I said, but once I get it, I've got it. And then finally he was like, oh yeah, I guess you are getting it. And then, years later he's like, well, you were right, you got it. after that after that horrible first, like, I guess it took like a full week honestly for my shot to get remotely better, and finally he was like, oh okay, yeah, this is getting good now. So yeah, that's he likes to tell that story too, so.
So, what was it like preparing for your first shot mentally? Like, so you said you weren't nervous?
Yes. I wasn't really the level of nervous that I carried for every other shot after that first shot. And I guess what I meant by that is I wasn't, now that I'm a therapist coming approaching it, like I look at things now, and I think I relate a lot of it what I'm doing. Anyways, so I'm like, I don't think my body was prepared for the adrenaline, the surge of adrenaline that I was about to experience, right? Like I wasn't in that fight or flight mode. I was just kind of like, cha, I don't know. So ever since that first flight, I had realized what was going to happen to my body and what that level of adrenaline and that speed would do. And I was like, okay, so I eventually got to this place where I was breathing very quickly, before I got actually shot out, so that my body could already
in
be in
that
that
zone.
flight mode. Yes. Which I'm realizing now is obviously I'm fast breathing puts you into that sympathetic
Hmm.
nervous response. So that's what I did, just not knowing it back then, but I was like, oh yeah, I gotta get amped up. And so I started like quick breathing after that. And yes, of course I was nervous every time I got shot out of the cannon. And I rightly so. I think Brian told this to me once, like when you start getting not when you're not nervous about a shot, like there's something wrong. Like you've got to evaluate what's going on. Like maybe you need to take a break. Like you always need to be nervous to have that response in your body and to be safe. And I'm realizing, the sympathetic nervous system response, like you need to be ready to like adjust whatever you need to do in the moment before that flight. So,
How many flights have you done?
yeah. I almost got to 600, but
Wow.
not quite six.
You
Yeah.
ever going to go back to Indiana to hit 600?
Well, not just for
What?
fun. No. If there's a job, which there was a potential one this upcoming summer, but it fell through, I would go back and do it. It had to be like the perfect circumstance, and be able to fit in my life. But yes, I'd be open to doing that as of right now. Like we'll see
Very
how
nice.
long. Um,
Well, how many
yeah.
shots did you
I
do?
mean, Brian and team.
Sounds like you know exact
It was
number.
close.
Oh, okay.
No, I don't. I don't remember. Yeah, it was 500 and I don't even know if it was in the 80s or the 90s, but very close. 580 something or 590
Okay.
something.
So
Yeah.
after training, how did you feel about where you're at in your career
After
with Brian
training, oh, for that
for
that
those 3
week.
weeks?
I
Yeah.
mean, those 3 weeks. Yeah. I felt excited. I was very nervous to join Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey. I'd never been on a circus production like quite that scale with like managers and train crew and all of these moving parts. Like it was quite a large
And
scale.
high car cooks.
And then yes, and then I also like I was nervous because I'd hear all the stories about the other Cannon girls and like injuries. You're always thinking about injuries too. So various things made me nervous, but I think the overwhelming thing I felt was excitement and gratitude, and I was like, "Oh yes, I have made the right decision here. Like this is great. Like this is something that showcases my skills that I've worked on for such a long time, like went to school with. Like I love performing because I was a ballet dancer before. I mean, I love performing for a crowd. So I was like, this wraps it all very nicely. Like my act is only a minute, and I'm only getting shot for seconds. Um, so I think overall, I was like, this is a great decision, and I was very happy that that is what I decided to do. I just wish the show had lasted a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Um, at- yeah.